Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and that's right, I am finally reviewing this Disney animated feature film, alongside with, Raya and the Last Dragon and Moana. This Disney animated feature film I had yet to see until now, and yeah, I tell you, like, this was really good. I mean, it didn't disappoint for me, and I knew very well that this Disney animated feature film did very well. Like, I think still to this day, nobody will stop talking about this film and its characters and the songs. That's right, I am finally reviewing Disney's Encanto. Yes, Encanto. Oh boy, like, I really didn't know what to expect the first time I watched this film, but before I get into that and, talking about the film itself, as always, I'll read the description / the story. Encanto tells the tale of an extraordinary family, the Madrigals, if I'm saying that name right. If I'm not, then, I apologize. You know me, as always. Who live hidden in the mountains of Colombia, in a magical house, in a vibrant town, in a wondrous charmed place called Encanto. The magic of the Encanto has blessed every child in the family with a unique gift, from super strength to the power to heal every child except one, Maribel. But when she discovers that the magic surrounding the Encanto is in danger, Maribel decides that she, the only ordinary Madrigal, might just be her expectational family's last hope. Okay, so as I was saying, I didn't know what to expect from this film and how much I would enjoy this film. And you know something? Because, I was thinking for a while, even before seeing this movie, who's going to be the villain, and what's the climactic thing that's going to happen? As you would expect in any Disney film. But no, there's really nothing to it. No, epic adventure, traveling, bits and places of the world, or no villain. I was expecting, two characters, either one to be the main villain. But yeah, there's none of that, and that's a good thing. For once, we just have, a story where, it's all about family, as Disney has done before. That's what's important about Disney. Family, and basically, the whole movie is set in one location, which being Encanto, and the house, Casita, that's the name of the house for the entire family, and Casita does have a personality, it is alive. And, the opening to the film, basically, because, yeah, with the characters, we have Abuela Aima, voiced by Maria Cecilia Butero, if I'm saying the last two words right, telling the story to a young Maribel about when her late husband, and which being Maribel's late grandfather, in Spanish, abuelo, because in Spanish, abuelo for grandfather and abuela for grandmother in Spanish. Because they were forced out of where they used to live. They never really establish who these people are that ambush them and terrorize them and chase them off. Yeah, who were those guys on horses? Well, I don't know if Disney or the people that worked on Encanto ever established this. I don't know. And whenever the time and setting of this movie takes place, that's another thing. So Maribel's abuelo / grandfather was lost when he tried to hold off the bad guys and for them to escape, but unfortunately, okay, we don't see him get killed, but we see that he just vanishes. But something comes along that brings the entire family a miracle, this candlelight, and basically magic erupts, and it creates and brings the family a house, and they are protected from danger, and yeah, it's amazing, you know, and very creative for this movie. I tell you, because, you know, that's what's important to movies, and especially Disney. And basically, yeah, because each of the family members, they have gifts and they have powers, you know, the same, like they get, their gifts are having powers and magic altogether, and they have their own special rooms, you know, like each one, like, you know, receiving their own room, and, you know, they touch the doorknob and they receive their gift. So, so with the family members, the Mad Girl family members, we have Luisa. Her gift, and that is her power, is super strength. And there's also Camilo. His gift is he can shapeshift into different people. And I had a good feeling, and yeah, basically Camilo is the goofball of the family, and, you know, the Disney goofball character, that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's also Dolores. Her gift is she can hear things, like even if like in a far distance. That's her gift slash power. There's also Pepe. Her gift is weather. Like she like would sometimes have a cloud over her if I guess if she would be upset, like an angry, like thunder, lightning, or rain. It's, yeah, pretty funny. Also, we also have, of course, Maribel. Maribel being the main character of this film, and, yeah, and then the voice cast, yeah, let's talk about that. The voice cast, Stephanie Beatriz, if I'm saying her last name right, she's the voice of Maribel. And as I mentioned, Maria Cecilia, she voices Maribel's abuela. There's also Jess Darrow, who voices Luisa, if I'm saying that right, with the super strength. Pepe being voiced by Caroline Gatinan, if I'm pronouncing the last name right. Oh yeah, and there's also Isabella. Almost forgot about Isabella, because her gift slash power is like blooming flowers and that kind of stuff. And throughout most of this film, Isabella and Maribel, they don't get along really well. But of course, with stuff like that going on in a movie, we should know that near the end of the film, things would patch up between two characters, and of course that's what happens. There's also Pepe's husband, and actually, if I remember correctly, because her and her husband, they're the parents of Camilo. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because you know, Camilo and Maribel, they're cousins. You know, cousin and niece. So there's that. Okay, and so Pepe's husband, named Felix, being voiced by Maro Castillo. Yeah. And there's also Maribel's parents. Let me see. Yeah, Julieta and Augustin, if I'm saying that right. Maribel's mother being voiced by Angie Capeda, and Maribel's father being voiced by Wilmer Valderrama. I hope I got that right. Yeah, and there's also Maribel's little cousin, Antonio, voiced by Ravi Kabat Conyers. Yeah. Basically, on that day, there's going to be a ceremony happening for Antonio, and you know, he's going to receive his gift and power. And Antonio, like, he's roommates with Maribel, and we also find out that Maribel, well, we do see at the beginning of the film that, you know, she was getting her own gift and, you know, opening her own room, you know, and touching the knob at the beginning of the film, and that's all that we see. Like, we don't see what happens next until we cut to years later. Now she's a teenager. And we do find out that Maribel does not have a gift. And that just leaves you wondering at first. Anybody who would watch this movie for the first time, you're just like, how? How does she not have a gift? Like, oh, she's the only one of the family that just doesn't have anything. She's not like the rest of the family, like that kind of stuff. So, like, the ceremony happening, and Antonio being very nervous, and he wants his big niece to, you know, help walk him to his door, and, you know, she does so. I mean, you know, you can't turn down a kid who's nervous and scared. You get my point. So they walk up, and when Antonio, he touches the doorknob to his very own room, what's his gift? Well, a toucan flies on his arm, and basically his gift is he can understand and listen to animals talking. Like, that's pretty cool. And, like, you know, the toucan asking Antonio if ever, like, we don't understand what, we can't understand what the toucan is saying, and that's another thing, because sometimes any Disney film, you know, they would have animals talk, with the exception of, like, say, Pocahontas. So there's that. So none of the animals in this film, they talk, because, again, Antonio's the only one that can understand the animals. So the toucan, I should say, asks Antonio something, and Antonio responds, yes, they can all come and live. And basically, the toucan was asking Antonio if all the animals, like, local animals in Encanto can come in and, like, I guess, like, live in Antonio's room. Like, there's, I remember there were birds. There was also capybaras. Yeah, capybaras, if anybody knows those animals, capybaras. And then there's a party that happens inside of Antonio's room. And I gotta tell you, because each of, like, the family members' rooms, like, for Antonio's room, for example, it's like a giant, I don't know, rainforest or something, and especially for all the animals. And they all gather for a family picture, except for Maribel. She doesn't get, I don't think, like, she gets her chance to, like, get in and be in the family picture. Yeah, poor Maribel. Like, you know, you just feel her pain, and, like, really, because she feels left out of the family. I guess you could say, like, the black sheep or something, even though that's not true, you know, and knowing Maribel. And that's when, like, a little bit later, outside of the house, because basically Maribel discovers, like, a piece from Casita, you know, has fallen off, like, part of the roof. She, like, accidentally cuts herself. How did she cut herself? Like, just grabbed it and then got a cut? I guess so. And basically, she can see this, that Casita, and Encanto itself, like, you know, the house, is basically, like, crumbling. Like, cracks are happening, and, like, lights, the magic of the candle and the lights, they're flickering. Something's up. And she warns her family and her abuela about this, but when they check and see, like, everything seems normal, and, you know, like, I guess they think that Maribel must be hallucinating or something, but she know what she saw. But that's when a little bit later, like, she's kind of up top of the roof, and she sees her abuela talking to a picture of, you know, her abuela's late husband / Maribel's late abuelo, grandfather. Abuela knows that the house, Casita, is, like, something's up with it. Like, she does believe in what Maribel saw, even though that abuela, she doesn't want to tell anybody, the family or everybody that lives in Encanto, like, doesn't want to cause any panic or anything like that. So that's when, like, the next day she is trying to get information about this, and not to mention, like, there's one family member who mysteriously disappeared. We don't know at first why he disappeared, and that being Bruno. And Bruno being voiced by John Leguizamo. Yeah, and this being John Leguizamo's third voice acting performance, you know, because the first two voice acting roles that he did, the first one being in Don Bluth and Gary Oldman's Titan A.E., and most notably, his voice role of Sid the Sloth in Ice Age. Yeah, and it's nice to see that John Leguizamo is doing a voice role for a Disney character in a Disney animated feature film. Like, that's really cool. And yeah, John Leguizamo does not disappoint as Bruno, and, you know, until we get to when Bruno appears, because, yeah, as I said, Bruno, he mysteriously disappeared, and, you know, even, like, in some of the song numbers, Bruno being mentioned, and, you know, the family they don't want to talk about Bruno. Like, you know, they go on saying, we don't talk about Bruno. But why? Like, the audience is questioned, why does the family not want to talk about Bruno? Like, what has Bruno done? And, you know, as I mentioned, like, as I said earlier, like, I was wondering and thinking, like, either these two characters would be the villains. I was thinking Bruno might be a villain, but no, he isn't. And as, you know, we find out later on in the film, and if anybody, I can't be the only one that thought of this. If anybody, and if any of you guys thought of the same thing too, if Bruno was a bad guy. And I'll go ahead and say this as well. I also thought that Maribel's grandmother / her abuela, I thought she was going to be a villain too, but no. Neither Abuela or Bruno are the villains. So anyways, Maribel trying to get information and to know about Bruno and to figure this out, like to save the miracle, because that's the thing, because the candle being the miracle and how the miracle, like, you know, saved the family, you know, all those details. She's trying to get information from her big muscular sister, Luisa, and the thing is that Luisa may know something about what Maribel claimed that she saw last night because, well, Lucia, and as we know and find out that Lucia, like, if she's nervous or scared, her eye twitches, and Maribel clearly noticing that Luisa's, one of her eyes is twitching, and like, you know, you're twitching, and then like Luisa, I didn't expect this because, yeah, Luisa gets her own song number, but until I get to the song numbers, I'm going to talk about that after I talk about the story, and thus, you know, Luisa does mention and talk about Bruno and how, Maribel would get some information about what's going on in Bruno's tower, like the top of Casita, and where Bruno used to live, because, you know, as we all know, because Bruno, he disappeared, and, well, he's no longer living in the tower, so Maribel goes into the tower, and even though, because she was told that, you know, it could be kind of rough in there, and, you know, because nobody's been in there for quite a while, and what we see in Bruno's tower, oh my gosh, because it's big, and, like, for one thing, so many steps, and, oh my gosh, and I don't know, because when I was watching the movie, I was almost getting, like, a little bit of it, like, it popped in my head, like, and listening, and, like, thinking of, like, the music in this, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, you know, that one part where Indy, he's, you know, trying to get to the Grail and to save his father. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and I'm sure, like, anybody would think of the same thing, too. I can't be the only one that thought of that, so, like, I was, like, listening and thinking of the music in that scene, in that sequence of Last Crusade, as Maribel was making her way to, like, I guess, you know, find Bruno, and to find something that will kind of answer, like, what's going on with Casita, etc. And when she makes her way to, I guess, yeah, where Bruno's old room, and it has a lot of sand, even, like, a toucan kind of showed up and kind of joined Maribel, but chickened out a little bit later. Maribel finds, like, broken pieces of, I think, like, a green, flat crystal, I want to say. I don't know. I don't think they even say what it is, but, you know, something that can show, like, what is happening and what's the answer to why Casita is, like, almost about to fall apart and to be destroyed, you know. And we find out because when she puts the pieces together, well, she sees an image of Casita, the house, but then Maribel herself shows up, like, what does she got to do with this? She's done nothing. And then, like, something happens in Bruno's tower, and, like, sand erupting, and, like, and then she gets out of there, and her abuela getting suspicious about what Maribel's doing, and even when, say, she found out that Luisa got upset. And another thing is, like, this is affecting the family members, their gifts / their powers. Like, when Louisa was trying to carry a herd of donkeys, well, she stated that they were heavy for her, and that's impossible because she has super strength, and, like, she can, she, tipped back a house, and, like, you know, she's powerful, human strength, and, like, the donkeys being heavy for her? That's not possible. And, yeah, as I said, like, Mirabel's abuela, like, she's suspicious about what Mirabel's doing and telling her, whatever you're doing, stop it. And that's when, like, say, Mirabel's father finds out what Mirabel's doing. And not to mention, because, like, oh, yeah, like, another song number where we get one from Pepe and Felix about Bruno, and the song being called We Don't Talk About Bruno, again, until I get to the song numbers. And as I said, Mirabel's father finding out what she's been doing and seeing the flat crystal, you know, that she put back together, and Mirabel just giving out her father all the information about what she's been doing, about, you know, thinking that she is the problem / cause of Casita breaking and falling apart, and trying to fix this and to locate and find Bruno. And her father just, like, you know, had his mouth open, is like, you know, okay, just you and I, like, nobody heard about this, you know, just between you and me, stuff like that. But Mirabel's sister, yeah, Dolores, the one who can hear things, yeah, like, can if she can sometimes hear big secrets, like, again, if she's, like, a few distance off, like, yeah, she did hear what Mirabel and their father said, so now she knows. And then there's a moment where, you know, they're all having dinner, and at one point, Isabella's, like, boyfriend, I think, yeah, Maluma, if I'm saying that name right, voiced by Moreno Guzma. I think I got that right, yeah, Moreno Guzma, like, that sounds about right. There's something special is about to happen between them, Maluma and Isabella, so they're having dinner, and Dolores, she passes on to the family members, whispering in their ears, and, well, even Mirabel, she was, like, keeping her eye on Isabella, like, don't do anything, like, you could tell, like, that's what was going on. But even when she turned around, Dolores was quick to, like, whisper in their ears. It's pretty funny. And that's when, like, Mirabel, she's trying to keep things going really well, and, you know, just having Maluma just get it over with and propose to Isabella. That's what was going on, and if anybody hadn't figured that out already, that Maluma is about to propose to Isabella. But then, at one point, Dolores does blurt out what's going on with Mirabel to the whole family, you know, just shouting, and like, oh, she did it. So, that's when at one moment, Casita, like, just, like, shakes, and there's cracks and stuff like that. And then a little bit later, Mirabel runs off, and she is, I think, like, she's determined, oh, no, because, like, the animals that understand and, you know, they interact and talk with Antonio. I think it was the rats, yeah. A couple of the rats actually stole some of the some of the pieces of the green crystal that Mirabel put back together. They stole them, she's chasing after the rats, and at one point, we see that, one of the pieces, like, it's lifted up in the air. We don't see who it is until, like, the smoke clears off. It's Bruno. Yeah, Bruno is there. He never left. He was still there. He's still there in Casita, and he starts running away from Mirabel when Mirabel is trying to chase after her. And then, like, at one point, like, it seems like she's about to almost fall because, like, you know, like, the floor was kind of broken off, like the bridge, and, you know, and even when, say, she almost slips, like, Bruno catches her, you know, pulls her back up, and, well, Bruno, he falls down, but actually, no, it wasn't that much of a huge drop. And then we see that Bruno, as I said, Bruno, he never left Casita and Encanto altogether. He just, like, kind of hid in, like, a private room and stuff like that, a hideout, basically. And we learn a lot more from Bruno because of why he left and disappeared, that is. And he was there. He was there when Mirabel was, you know, was to get her gift and her power. But the thing is, Mirabel never did because, well, as it was established early on that Maribel does not have a gift, and, well, because, you know, with her, like, receiving her own room and, like, touching the doorknob, well, at one point it disappeared. She never got it. And Bruno was seeing what would happen in the future. Like, it was, like, kind of, like, it was, like, how do I put this? Like, it was, like, an option, basically, of what could happen, because Maribel being there, and she could still be, like, the cause of Casita and the house, like, crumbling and being destroyed. And, like, there was an option, like, you know, to change the future, that kind of stuff. And in order to find out how to you know, fix the future and to save Casita, well, like, they have to get into, like, a big place to, you know, for Bruno to use his magic and to see this happening. And by the way, because, like, why Bruno left is because, well, they, like, the townspeople of Encanto would assume that what Bruno would tell them, like, it would be wrong, it would be disastrous, that what they would expect from Bruno, that kind of stuff. And at one point, because Antonio, like, well, obviously the animals alerted Antonio, like, where Maribel went, and because, well, what the rats did, and Antonio, like, offers Bruno and Maribel to use his room, because, well, it is a big room, and thus, like, Bruno, like, spreading out sand and, like, to start the magic and to see the future. And we see both Bruno and Maribel see what could possibly be fixed in the future and to, you know, restore and to save Casita. And what it shows is Maribel, like, rejoicing and hugging somebody. And who is it that she's hugging and that could save Casita? It's Isabel. Yeah, because these two sisters, like, who don't get along, and Maribel has to hug and, you know, consult Isabel, and yeah, even Maribel is not pleased with this. I love that face that she gives. Like, yeah, you can understand why. So Maribel is, you know, she goes into Isabel's room to, you know, speak kindly and nice to her, you know, and, you know, wanting to hug her. But Isabella, she's not having any of that, and just flat out blaming Maribel for ruining her life. Since when? When has Maribel ruined her life? I mean, because of what happened, you know, at the family dinner, and where Isabel's boyfriend, Morano, was going to propose to her. But we do find out, and this slips out of Isabel's mouth, she never wanted to get married to her boyfriend, Morano. I guess, like, she really didn't like Morano, and, like, it was forced on, she was forced on by the family to do so. And then we do get a song number, of course, from Isabella and Maribel, and near the end of the song, well, things do patch up between the two sisters, and of course they start hugging, and that seems to, you know, save Casita. But that's when Abuela shows up, their grandmother. And even, like, say, I'd like to point this out, because even, like, Maribel's parents, like, they tried to, you know, set Abuela straight. Actually, because, yeah, Abuela is the mother of Maribel's mother. So, you know, Maribel's mother telling, you know, her mother's and slash Maribel's grandmother, like, not to give Maribel a hard time, etc. But at this moment, and when, you know, things are doing pretty well between Isabel and Maribel, Abuela just is very disappointed and upset with Maribel, and Maribel just comes out and says that, you know, that she's not perfect, and you know, going on, like, just being upset and angry at Abuela. And then she then says to Abuela that, you know, that this is her fault, like, causing to destroy this family and the house altogether, the miracle, and so on. Well, and that's when Casita, the house, the miracle, it all starts to crumble and be destroyed, and all of the family just being tossed out of the house. And at one point, Maribel is trying to go after the candle slash the miracle. We even see Bruno, he's getting out of there, like, where his hideout is. And, you know, when Maribel just trying to reach for the candle, and she does get it, but there's nothing left to the candle because it's burned out, and how much is left with the candle itself, you know, the wax. So the house, Casita, altogether crumbles. And Casita, I think at this point, like, I wouldn't say that at this moment he's dead, but no longer there, you know, and to be alive and so on. You get my point. So, and any of you who have seen this movie. And yeah, because Mirabel, she has a lot of guilt in her, and at one point she runs away. And yeah, because Mirabel's family wonders where she went, and they try looking for her. And that's when we see Abuela find Mirabel, and they're actually in the same location where the candle showed up, and, well, where Abuela's late husband, you know, she tried to, you know, hold off the bad guys chasing after them and so on. And Mirabel just, you know, very upset and, you know, telling her Abuela that, you know, all she wanted was to, you know, be somebody that she didn't have, you know, that kind of stuff. And Abuela comes out to Mirabel telling her that, you know, it's not her fault, that it's her fault, you know, like, she thinks, like, you know, she's to blame for, and giving, like a full backstory of, like, you know, what really happened. And, yeah, I'm pretty emotional, I should say. And, well, when it came up to when Mirabel did not receive her gift, and with her about to open her own room and touching the doorknob, and for that disappearing, you know? And Mirabel, you know, telling her Abuela / grandmother that it's not her fault, you know, and, you know, you brought this family together and so on. And even Abuela at one point saying to Mirabel that she realized now that her late husband / Mirabel's abuelo, well, he brought Mirabel to her. So yeah, if you get my point, and, you know, as she explains in the film, yeah, very, very touching. And then at one point, well, because actually, like, clear blue skies show up, and, like, the magic starts to, like, be born again, you know, and Bruno coming in and like, trying to, you know, tell them that, you know, he, like, it's his fault and so on, and, you know, telling Abuela, like, if you don't like me anymore and so on. But Abuela, she runs up to Bruno and hugs him. And yeah, Abuela, she missed Bruno very much. And yeah, because Bruno coming back, and yeah, he had been missed by the family. And, you know, we get one more song number, and where Mirabel, like, and basically, like, you know what, here's the thing, and I think I'm right on this. You know, Mirabel did have a gift, and that being, you know, loving her family and just, you know, getting them to be happy again and so on, and them, like, rebuilding Casita by bare hands, and, you know, and, like, and her telling everybody else that, you know, like, they never really had a gift. I mean, because the actual gift that they had was being themselves. And yeah, like, that's a good point. And I think, yeah, that's how she establishes it in the song and so on. And there was, like, one funny moment in the song number, like, where, like, and as I said, like, in some of the song numbers, like, saying that, you know, we don't talk about Bruno, and Camilo saying, so now we're talking about Bruno now. It's funny, and it's obvious. Like, something like that would be said in one of the songs. So again, as I said, they rebuild their home, but also Casita comes back to life, and the magic is back once again, and everybody gets their gifts again, you know. Luisa gets her super strength again. Isabella, she gets, like, the power and gift of, you know, blooming flowers. Antonio, able to hear and understand animals. Camilo, able to shapeshift again. Dolores, able to hear people. Like, yeah. And Pepe, you know, the weather under her head, the cloud, and so on. Yeah. So yeah, all ends well for the family in this Disney animated feature film, and Mirabel all together. All right, so let's talk about the song numbers. The songs being written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is no stranger to Disney, because he got his start working with Disney, I think, starting with Mary Poppins Returns, and from there on, because, you know, he had done a lot of, like, song numbers for Disney films like this, and also working on the live-action Little Mermaid films. And also, he's best known for Hamilton. Yeah. So the song numbers written by him in Encanto, really good song numbers from the family Madrigal, if I'm saying the family name right. The first song number, and basically Maribel talking about each of her family members and her gifts, and up to when, like, well, she's singing it to the kids and guiding them through Encanto, the Encanto village, and the kids are asking her what's her gift, and she's trying to avoid that. There's also Waiting on a Miracle, sung by Maribel, and this is after, you know, she didn't get in the family picture, and, you know, she's trying to be okay, but she really is not. A very emotional song, for sure. And Surface Pressure, yeah, this is Luisa's own song number. A really good and funny song number, and just her, like, lifting up so much heavy stuff. Oh my gosh, that was pretty good. And, yeah, the one song number that I mentioned, about which has Bruno's name, We Don't Talk About Bruno. Again, sung by, it was Pepe and her husband, Felix. Yeah, Felix. That was a pretty good song number. And again, because they sing about why they don't talk about Bruno. And there's also, What Else Can I Do? Yeah, that was a good song number as well. There was also Das Orocatis, I don't know how you say that word. All of You, and there's also, yeah, the final song number that they sing at the end, and yeah, because as I was talking about, yeah, I tell you, like, these were some really good song numbers, and, you know, Disney, they never disappoint with their song numbers, and each, like, songwriters that they've had, you know, from the Sherman Brothers, Howard Ashman, Alan Menken, the Lopez's, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, and each of them, because, you know, they write songs their very own way, and it does show, and especially for Lin-Manuel Miranda, because, yeah, these songs are really good, and everybody loves to sing these songs. You know, I have a good feeling, because probably, We Don't Talk About Bruno, probably, like, that could be one of, like, the top songs of Encanto that everybody would sing, I assume. But overall, because the songs in Encanto are great, yeah, just really good. That's all I need to say. Encanto. What a great Disney animated feature film this is. The story is great, the characters are great, the animation, the music, the funny moments, and the emotional moments, everything to this Disney animated feature film, just fantastic. And I really enjoyed Encanto. It didn't disappoint for me. And I'm giving Encanto 10 out of 10 stars. That's right, 10 out of 10 stars for Encanto. And what about you guys? What did you think of Encanto itself? What did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Encanto. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video /review. Take care, and peace out.